everything in the universe, human being and thoughts is made of meters and thoughts is made of meters and everything in the universe. How believe that everything in the universe made by made how believe that everything in the universe, including human and thoughts, made by motion and made of made thoughts is made of matter and motor. Don't believe that everything in the universe, including human and how does Hobbes define the state of nature? The state of nature is a condition without government or laws where everyone is free and equal. The state of nature is a condition without government. How does Hobbes define the state of nature? The state of nature is a condition without government. Hobbes. The state of nature is a condition without government or laws where everyone is free and equal. The state of nature is what does Hobbes define? The state of nature is condition where condition without the state of nature is the state of nature is a condition without government and law where everyone is free and equal. Where everyone is free and equal. How does Hobbes define the state of nature? The state of nature is a condition without government and laws where everyone is free and equal. Hobbes believe that universal Hobbes believe that everything in the universe, including human being and thoughts, is made by matter and motion. What does Hobbes mean by war of against all? What does Hobbes mean by war of all against all? What does Hobbes mean by war of all against all? It means a condition of it means a condition of constant conflict. What does mean by war of all against all? It means a condition where it means a condition of constant conflict. It means a condition of constant conflict where everyone fights against everyone else. It means a condition of constant conflict. This means a condition of constant conflict where everyone fights against everyone else. Where everyone fights against everyone else. What does Hobbes mean by war of all against all? This means a condition of constant conflict where everyone fights against everyone else. Name one book written by John Locke on political theory. Two treatises on government. Name one book written by John Locke on political theory. Two treatises of government. Treatises, two treatises of government. Name the book written by John Locke on political theory. Two treatises of government. Who is the real source of sovereignty in Locke's theory? The people. Who is the real source of sovereignty in Locke's theory? People. Who is the real source of sovereignty in who Who is the real source of sovereignty? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. S-O-V-E-R-E-G-I. S-O-V-E-R-E-I-G-N-Y. And Google knows.
The real source of sovereignty you have to
Name any book written by Jack Smith. Only one book written by Jack Smith. Only one. Who was the advocate of philosophic called calculus calculus? Who is the advocate of the philosophic calculus? Jeremy Bentham. Who was the advocate of philosophic calculus? Who is the Jeremy Bentham? This is the exact 1 mark answer you can write in the exam. Only 2 marks answer. Explain the meaning of sovereignty in Hobbes' political theory. Sovereignty in Hobbes' theory means supreme and absolute power of the ruler. The sovereign has unlimited authority to maintain peace, laws and order in society. Sovereignty in house means absolute. Means the supreme and absolute power in the ruler. Supreme and absolute power of the ruler. The sovereign has unlimited authority and maintain unlimited authority to maintain peace, laws and order in society. Why is Hobbes regarded as a scientific materialistic? Why is Hobbes regarded as a scientific materialistic? Hobbes is regarded as a scientific materialistic because he explained human behavior and society in terms of matter and motion. He applied a scientific method of political theory. He applied scientific method to political philosophy. Hobbes is regarded as a scientific materialistic because he explains human behavior and society in terms of matter and motion. He applies scientific method to political philosophy. Hobbes is regarded as a scientific materialistic because he explains human behavior and society in terms of matter and motion. He applies scientific method means the supreme and absolute authority of a of the ruler. The authority is sovereign is limited. The sovereign has unlimited power to maintain peace, law, and order in society. Law and order in society. Indian Hawaii is also regarded as a scientific linguistics of regarded scientific linguistics because he explained human behavior and he explained human behavior and society behavior in human behavior in society in terms human behavior and society in terms of he explained human behavior in terms of matter and motion. Matter and motion. He applied scientific method to political theory. He applied scientific methods to political theory. He applied scientific methods to political theory. Hobbes is regarded as a scientific linguist because he explained human behavior and society in terms of matter and motion. He applies scientific method and political philosophy. He is regarded as a scientific linguist because he explained he is regarded as a scientific linguist because he explained human behavior in of matter and motion, behavior and society of matter. Matter and motion. He applied scientific method and method of political thinking. Scientific method in political thinking. Mention two defects of natural state. Mention two defects of nature of state. Mention two defects of the state. Absence of law and authority, constant fear, insecurity, constant fear, insecurity, and conflict among individuals. Absence of law and authority, constant conflict, constant fear, insecurity, and conflict among individuals. Constant fear, insecurity, and conflict among individuals. Why is political authority necessary? is political authority necessary for control? Political authority is necessary and the chaos. Why is political authority necessary for the political authority necessary to end the chaos of the state of nature and the chaos of state of nature and ensure peace, security and order among people? Why is political authority necessary for people? Political authority is necessary to political authority necessary to end the chaos chaos the chaos of the state of nature and ensure peace, security and one and order among people. Order among people to ensure peace, security and order among people. Why is political authority necessary according to law? What is political authority? Political authority. Why is political authority necessary according to law? Political authority is necessary to end the chaos in the political chaos of the state of nature and the chaos of the state of nature and the chaos of the state of nature and the chaos of state of nature and the chaos of state of nature and ensure peace, security and people. Does Hobbes allow the right to rebel against the sovereign? Does Hobbes allow any right to rebel against the sovereign? No. Does Hobbes allow any right to rebel against the sovereign? does how allow any right to rebel against the sovereign? No, Hobbes generally does not rebel against the sovereign. However, individuals may resist if their own life is directly threatened. Individuals may resist if their own life is directly threatened. No, how generally don't allow rebelling against the civil, allow rebelling against the sovereign. However, individual may resist if their own life is directly threatened. According to Hobbes, what right what right what rights do individuals surrender to the sovereign? According to Hobbes, what rights do individuals surrender to sovereign? According to what rights do individuals surrender to the sovereign? Individuals surrender almost all their natural rights to the sovereign, except the right to self-preservation. These surrender all rights. Individuals surrender almost all their natural rights to the right to the sovereign, except the right to self, except the right to preservation, except the right to self, except the right to self preservation. The right to serve mention the three main natural rights to living by law: right to life, right to liberty, right to property. Mention the three main natural rights given by law: right to life, right to liberty, right to property. Mention the three main natural rights given by law: right to life, right to liberty, right to property. Why do people leave government according to law? Why do people from government? Why do people from government according to law? Why do people from government according to law? Why do people from government according to law? People from government to protect their natural rights. Why do people form government according to law? Why do people form government according to law? People form government to protect their natural rights, liberty, and to ensure justice. People form government to ensure their natural rights. People form government to protect their natural rights. People form government to protect their natural rights, property, and people form government to protect their people form government to protect their natural rights, life, liberty, and property, ensure visual justice and visual justice. People for government to protect their natural rights and life, liberty, property, life, liberty and property, and ensure to natural and to ensure natural. What is the why do people form the government? People form the government to protect their natural rights, life, liberty, property, and to maintain justice. What is the main limitation on property according to law? What is the main limitation on property according to the law? According to law, the person should not acquire more property than he can use before his spoil. What is the main limitation? What is the main limitation on property according to law? According to law, a person should not acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. According to law, a man cannot. A person should not acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. According to law, a person should not acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. According to law, a person should not acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. According to law, a person should not acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. According to law, a person should not. What is the main limitation on property? What is the main limitation on property according to law? According to law, what is the main limitation on property according to law? According to law, man should not acquire more property than he can use before he is spoiled. Acquire more property than he can use before it spoils. Why is James Mill considered a liberal thinker? Why is James Mill considered a liberal thinker? James Mill is considered a liberal thinker because he mostly supported individual liberty, freedom, and expression. Because he strongly supported individual liberty, freedom of expression, and limited government interference. He is a liberal thinker because he strongly supported it. J.S. Mill considered as a liberal thinker because he strongly support individual liberty, freedom of expression, freedom of and limited government interference. Why is J.S. Mill considered as a liberal thinker? J.S. Mill considered as a liberal thinker. J.S. Mill considered a liberal thinker because he strongly support individual liberty, freedom of expression, and limited government interference. What point out two principles of Jeremy Bentham's utilitarian philosophy. Mention both are two principles of Jainism. Mention utilitarian philosophy. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. Point out two principles of Jeremy Bentham's utilitarian greatest number and greatest happiness of greatest number. Actions are judged by their usefulness in producing and reducing pain, reducing pleasure and using are judged by their usefulness in pleasure, reducing pleasure and reducing pain. Reducing point out to the greatest happiness, the greatest number, s of the greatest number. Point out two principles of James Bentham. Greatest happiness, greatest number. Happiness of the greatest number. Actions are judged by their usefulness. Actions are judged by their usefulness in producing pleasure and reducing pain. Greatest happiness of a greatest number. Of the greatest number. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. Point out two principles of Jeremy Bentham utilitarian philosophy. Greatest number of greatest happiness of greatest number. Greatest happiness of greatest number. Greatest happiness of greatest number. Greatest happiness of the greatest number. So action can judge. Actions are judged by their usefulness in producing pleasure and reducing pain. Actions are judged by their usefulness. It is better to be human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. Who said this and why? It is better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. It is better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. It is better to be a human being. It is better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. Big satisfied. Who said this and why? J.S. Mill said this. He believed that intellectual and moral pleasure are superior to merely pleasure. J.S. Mill said this. J.S. Mill said this because he believed moral pleasure. We believe that intellectual and moral pleasure are superior.